Oh, Christ. I should just start over. Anyway, welcome back. I got distracted there. But welcome back. We will actually be talking about All-Star Superman, the animated film now. Okay, so thank you for sticking with me. Uh, Again, rambling can be a problem. But anyway, here's the long and the short of it. All-Star Superman, the animated film, is superb. It is the best work of the DC universe, the DC animated universe. Uh, and there's been, like I said, there's been some really good stuff. There, my favorites have been, my other favorite being Batman Under the Red Hood. That was great. It was wonderful. My other two favorites, I really, really loved Superman, Batman, Public Enemies. Um, I greatly enjoyed Superman, Batman, Apocalypse. Some people thought it was kind of weak. I did not. Some people also thought that Public Enemies was kind of weak. I don't even particularly care for Jeff Loeb. That's the weird part. I don't really care. I don't even really like what he does. It's not a comic that I've really read. But I was familiar with these story arcs, with the Public Enemies story arc and the Apocalypse story arc, which is basically, reintroducing Supergirl. Um, but it really, they were really good comic works, and because of the focus of the relationship of Superman and Batman and working off the two, and that's what really brings these two particular animated films to what is their success. But right now we're talking about All Star Superman. All Star Superman is a work of art, of great emotional storytelling throughout. There were times where I was teared up. Um, there were moments when I was just blown away by the great storytelling. Sam Liu, who's the director of this, who's directed other works of theirs, he did Public Enemies. I believe he did. I might be wrong, but I believe that he also did Apocalypse. But it's neither here nor there right now. Um, Basically, if you don't know the story, I'm not really going to get into it. But it's Superman is dying. That's how All Star Superman begins. Literally, both the comic and the film begin with Superman has been so oversaturated with solar radiation in something that was designed purposefully by Lex Luthor, that he it's exploding his cells. It's literally his cellular makeup is exploding, until eventually it will kill him. It's a sort of you know it's a cancer, if you will. So, and this is a term that I've seen thrown around in quite a few of the reviews of it. He kind of goes through his super bucket list of things that he wants to do, which is, of course, tell Lois Lane who he really is, and confess his love to her, to confront, and Lex Luthor, who is now imprisoned for crimes against humanity, is awaiting execution, is to kind of deal with him as a reporter, as the Clark Kent persona, but ultimately has to deal with him as Superman as well. And again, because of Grant's affinity for Silver Age storytelling, he brings in a lot of very unusual elements, things that are so kind of out there. And his kind of quasi-science. The characterization, is really incredible. The voice work is very unique because we've never seen any of these particular voice actors play these roles before. You know, there's no Tim Daly, there's no George Newbern like we've had in, you know, previous installments, you know, in incarnations of Superman. You know, there's no Dana Delaney as Lois Lane, no Clancy Brown as Lex Luthor. You know, you got James Denton, who I'm familiar with. I've seen him work in a couple of things, but I've never watched an episode of Desperate Housewives, which is kind of like what he's best known for, apparently. Christina Hendricks, who is, you know, one of the most beautiful and desirable women on the face of the planet, as far as I'm concerned, is also a hell of an actress. From, again, the little that I've seen her in, I don't watch Mad Men, but I've seen her, you know, in the 2 episodes of Firefly, Our Mrs. Reynolds, and Trash, where she played Saffron, Yolanda, you know, whatever her real name is. And she's so brilliant in those 2 episodes. And that red hair. I love redheads. So, Anthony LaPaglia, former star of, you know, Without a Trace, or even if that show is still on, I don't know. Without a Trace, obviously best known for kind of that show. Voices of Lex Luthor, and of course, you know, there are other voices that abound. Ed Asner plays Perry White. Alexis Denisof, who you probably best know as Wesley from both Buffy and Angel. There's also a you know, a bit player on Dollhouse as well. He played one of the roles, the role of the kind of Bowie-esque scientist. I forget his name. Quintum or whatever his name is. Anyway, so the voice acting is really, really good. The storytelling is really, really good, because they take basically what the best elements of Grant's story and kind of do away with some of the really, really, really out there shit. And which is not to say that it's bad in the construct of this universe. What I think Superman gets a bad rap. I don't read Action Comics. I don't read Superman, but I feel that as a character, it gets a bad rap because he's looked upon as, you know, the big blue Boy Scout. You know, he's the kind, you know, he always does the right thing, and he always, you know, he saves kittens out of trees, and, you know, he does this and he does that. He's all over the place, always doing these things where he's saving innocent people, and always doing it with the purest of hearts. And then I think to myself, as I was watching the film and also watching the really good kind of featurette, which is about Grant talking about the formation of the story and how it formed in his mind, is why is that such a bad thing to aspire to in a character? I mean, we want our myths to be of those people who are pure of heart. I mean, Batman is pure of heart, but he represents kind of the darkness, the fear, the anger of ourselves. And Superman is intended to be everything that is light and hopeful about ourselves. And that's not a bad thing. And I think that's why Superman does get this bad reputation. Because people like, you know, Wolverine is voted like the greatest character ever. Or like the last, you know, 30 years, whatever shit that is. I don't know. I don't agree with it ever at all. I think he's, you know, good, but not great. Because he's an animal. You know, essentially that's what he is. He's an animal who thinks he's a man, you know, and essentially a man who thinks he's an animal. But Superman is, you know, he's the purest of heroes because he is the purest of heart. And that's what makes him great. And I don't think, you know, in the case of the tragedy that's going on in our everyday lives in the world, that's not just a bad thing. Which is why I think that right now is a time where we need a Superman. And right now, why we, or at the very least I, needed All-Star Superman. Definitely check it out. Go out and buy it, because you'll watch it again and again. It's a really great piece of work. So counting down here. That's it. Go out and get All-Star Superman. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. We'll be back later this week with new comics. Take care.